Okay, today we are given 25 minutes to do this, so that's pretty cool. Well, it is a dark and rainy Wednesday here in central New York, in Clinton. And I don't know if you guys can see behind me in the window is our little Ravina. She's just hanging out, getting ready to do a bass video for you guys. I may do too, so stay tuned. She loves the bass. When I play, she lays down and listens. So anyway, I decided, I'm going back through and looking at what people ask a lot about and have the most questions about with regard to music, and working as a musician. I saw this topic coming up a lot. Oh man, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I'm telling you, which kind of works for this video. Um, so yeah. So what we're going to talk about today is staying healthy, while being a working musician. And a lot of people say, went out on the road or what have you, but think about it. And the musician, even the local musician, you're practicing for your shows. You do band rehearsal. You do your own personal practice time. Then you got to get to the show and you play the show. You're still even playing like a local, like I used to do, playing my locale, 3 to 6 nights a week. It takes its toll on you. And and then there's the session musician, who a lot of times, for those of you who don't know what session musicians are, they are basically just their full-time gig is a studio. So they'll go in and play for other people. A lot of times, they'll guest on people's albums and things, so that they can. A band comes in without a drummer, I might get called in. So all that to say, so yeah, there's that, and so those can be taxing on the body. You add in, like I said, practice time. When I was going at my craziest time, I was playing in two original bands. I also had, I had a weekly church gig where I played Saturday evenings at the Lutheran church in the band. I was in college full time, doing drum lessons, private lessons at my house, in my practice area, full time. So, you can get a lot of things going, if you really think about it. In the 90s, I was the house band for K-Rock. Granted, it wasn't all the time. It was like the Bill Keeler morning show, which was a big deal. And it was a couple times a year. And, the newspaper interviewed me about once a year for the 90s. So there's just things that come up. Um, and then, the regular home life and whatever you have going on. But, all that to say is, it's not easy. It can really wear and tear on the body. And so people have asked, how do you go out on the road and yet stay somewhat healthy, so you don't get sick? And, I've come up with a list of 5, and I think 5 is going to be the number for us, because a lot of my lists are 5s. But the first thing is, and I was looking around and reading and talking to people and listening to what people had to say and reading what people had to write, and yeah, getting ready for this. And one comment I saw is in regards to number 1, which is getting a good diet, as good as you can. I know you eat a lot of fast foods and things on the road, and even playing locally, we'd stop off and eat somewhere on the way or something, or grab some takein and eat at my house as a band, and then go to the show, whatever it was. But one guy wrote on a post, and he said, number 1, don't eat like you're going to the electric chair. These people get like these big meals, and they get everything they can ever love to eat in one humongous meal. Look at was it my last video? It was one of our earlier videos about preparing to get out on in the gigs. And I said, it was the one, what it was? It was the one about stage fright. and performance anxiety. And I said, don't overload your stomach. Don't eat like a heavy meal. Don't eat like cupcakes and cookies and things because you can crash. Um, if you're very nervous already, don't drink a lot of coffee. But there's things, you can eat pretty good. And I'm not for any diet. I've always been a moderation guy. I've far exceeded that, as you can probably tell in these videos. I'm 5 foot tall. I'm normally 80 pounds. I'm probably 95 right now from the holidays, and I put on some weight, so I'm going to be taking that off, and I'm working at it very hard. Um, and we'll talk about that when I get to number 2, which we will in a second. But just eat as good as you can. You can eat decent. You can still get some decent foods and protein bars for strength. I do the I'm not really a hungry person a lot, so I'll do the MET-RX metrics. Is that how you pronounce those? Bars. They're meal replacements, and I will say the apple pie ones, the birthday cake ones, and the churro ones are really good. And they're like 30 grams of protein, 30 to 32, and you can get everything you need in it. It's a meal replacement bar. They're decent. Um, you can get salad. You can get, I always heard that pizza was really good. If you can't eat really good, you can get like a cheese pizza. And I like, my favorite pizza would be mushrooms, black olives, peppers, and onions. And I mean, you're getting vegetables, you're getting dairy, you're getting bread, you're getting all the food groups, dairy with the cheese. So you can eat decent, and not to excess. Um, when I played regularly, I would get a little bit of pasta, being the drummer. I need energy. I would eat a little bit of pasta, go out for a pasta dinner, eat a little bit before, and then finish it after the gig. A little bit before gives me just the energy that I need, because an empty stomach can be just as bad as a full stomach. So that's for when you're on stage and doing work. Um, Number 2 is um, exercise. I don't push any special kind of exercise routine either, just like the diet. Do what you feels good to you, but stretches, daily stretches, moving. I use they're weighted fitness balls. I currently have a 6.5 pound ball that I use regularly. Um, I got away from that in the holidays, which is a bad thing, but whatever. And I use fitness bands. Being in a wheelchair, they're really cool resistance bands. So it's the equivalent of doing weight training, but a little easier on the joints. But you can stay in shape. You can walk or do a treadmill or whatever. Just stretch, because you want to keep the body moving. If you're on the road, a lot of times you're in cramped spaces, and you really need that, and you need to stay in shape and keep the blood moving. Cardio is good. If you like walking, just go for a walk. See what's around the neighborhood. Mark Slaughter is famous for that. From the band Slaughter, he just goes walking around a town wherever he's playing, and meets the people, and he'll go to the local malls or music shops or whatever, and just hang out with people and talk to them. So there's that. Number 3. Before we leave number 2, I do want to say, and I've done this early on, and I learned my lesson. Don't overdo it on days that you're actually going to be putting out the most energy, effort. If you have a show, don't do like a full bodybuilding routine, because you will feel it. You just want to keep those days light, and we'll talk more about that in number 5. Number 3, sleep. Sleep is important. Sleep is important anyway, but and you guys know that I'm a Christian also, so that bleeds into every aspect of my life, and it does here too, because the Proverbs and Psalms, and there's different places that talk about discipline for the body, and going to bed early and getting up early are the best. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. My dad always told us, and I heard it growing up: early to bed. See, number 1, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, I guess bread does rise too, so So that said, there's something to that, and that's pretty much what the Bible says. Um, and then I've heard other people tell me repeatedly, um, well, early to rise and early to bed makes a man socially dead. But, I made a note, and if you really think about it, now listen, I know we're kind of torn as musicians because our office is usually in a club or a bar. But, I've seen the things that go on in the bars, and not by everybody. Some people actually go to see the music, enjoy the music, and they can have a beer and just enjoy the music. But a lot of times there's what I call shenanigans going on. You can get up any morning and open the newspaper and see what the police blotter had to say about the night before. Um, what goes on at night is not generally a good thing, and it's pretty much everything my dad told me not to do and not to be as an adult and have good character. So, if that's being socially dead, I'm good with that. I would rather go to sleep early. And not for nothing, but when I saw Metallica after the gig, Hetfield was off to bed. Um, Rob Halford said he leaves the stage, he shakes a few hands, and he goes to bed. And he gets up early. And Alice Cooper. And I've heard a lot of people say that, and it's really cool because this whole thing of you got to be so depraved and do all these things as a musician. You do what you do. Music should be your job. That's what you love. It's not something that you all of a sudden have to drop all your morals and everything. So that's all I'll say about that. But the body needs sleep. You need good sleep. And I know I have to take some melatonin and things to sleep or I stay awake. And when I stay awake, I really feel sick. And with my disabilities, I'm really not able to move good if I don't sleep. Um, Number three, we did three, that was sleep. Okay, so number four, I wrote down meditation, but I'm not even just going to say meditation because, well, meditation is good. Um, like I said, my faith goes into every area. So, for me, Bible reading, listening to music, I'm kind of weird. Some of my best life experiences have been in college. I love college. I love learning. I take free classes all the time, um, just to learn, and I'll take notes like crazy. Um, I love books. I love reading. I love learning. So I'll watch, listen to, and read theological books. And, I get a lot of audio books, which is really cool when my eyes are not doing good. Uh, so I read a lot, and I listen to debates, and I take courses, and I love the word search books. My wife and I subscribe to a few streaming services. So I love to watch old movies and TV shows. I really don't think today's TV really offers much, or movies for that matter. I think the old ones, the classics, are really good. And I'm like that with music too a lot. I do like some newer music, but by and large, I like the classics. Um, but whatever you find, listening to music, even though I'm a musician and a minister, I don't leave those areas. Predominantly a counselor, but I am also ordained. Um, so yeah, music is really cool. Just whatever you need to do, and for me, just daily prayer and spending alone time with God is cool. Just to think about things and meditate, but find things to that you enjoy to occupy your mind a bit. I call them escapes. Sometimes we need things to take our mind away from what we're doing just to get a mental vacation, kind of. And then, number five, I put, as usual, this is my tidbits section. And really, there's things like, if you have to change your strings in your heads, for anybody that knows about drums, when you change a head, you have to take the old one off and you take out each of the lugs, and then you take that off, and then you have to change that, press on it, and do all that, and then put it back on. And the same goes for guitar strings. So you want to try to do everything you can ahead of time so that you don't have to put out any effort on the day of. And also, you want to um, don't do physical things if you're moving a lot of heavy equipment that you can't pack up and have ready to go. Um, and you have to move the equipment, lift with your knees, not your back. Just do things that you can on the day, other days before or whatever, so that you don't have to put out a lot of effort on days that you actually have to work. And really, those are all 5 things. I hope that you got a lot out of that. Um, I'm going to leave because we are almost out of time and because I'm at the end, but I just want to thank you guys, and somebody's knocking on my office door here. So, um, subscribe if you haven't already. If you like these videos, share and pass them along and help me to grow my audience. And I will be back. I'm going to be doing a bass video in a little bit. I got a couple shorts coming up, and that is pretty much that. See you guys on Saturday and before. God bless.